So I have a challenge for you. Before we begin, I have to say that if you are suffering from extreme mental illness or if you're suicidal, please do not watch this video. If you're still here and you want to overcome suffering, you want to overcome some sorrow, this is the video for you. Instead of indulging in more self-help videos, books, in retreats, dharma centers, instead of calling your guru the next time you're suffering, I have a challenge for you. Before you do it, before you try to help yourself, sit down and be with the suffering. You can do it even right now. Be with the suffering and know that there is no way out. There is no happiness to gain, to attain. You may have a desire, but there's no pleasure. You may be thirsty, but there's no water. You may be suffering, but there's no liberation. The desire for happiness is the main cause for suffering. What if there is no happiness? What if there is no enlightenment? What if there is no way out? The crystals don't help, the Bible doesn't help, God doesn't answer your calls, tarot cards don't help, your teacher doesn't help. You're in this endless cycle of trying to help yourself. It doesn't work. So the next time you have this urge to help yourself by consuming self-help videos, content, books, instead of calling your teacher, sit down, feel that suffering, and know that there is no way out. Surrender completely. There's no love, no happiness, no peace. There's just this pain. There is no future. So if in the present moment, if there's only suffering in the present moment, then that's all there is. There's no hope for a future that is different than now. That's the challenge. Do this the next time you have the urge to try to help yourself, if you want to avoid the current moment. Because this world is empty, you may have questions, but the world doesn't have any answers. You may have an urge, but there is no pleasure. It's this endless thirst. And there's something that can happen when you do this. When you sit down, there's the suffering, there's no way out, and you surrender. You know, there are millions of videos of people that tell you how to overcome the pain. But you know, they won't help. You spend your time trying to help yourself, watching videos, memorizing the things that they have said. But the happiness doesn't last. So you fall into this deep suffering, to this deep helplessness. And that there is something you might recognize, because people think that love is what connects us. It was different in my experience. Before I was able to feel real love, I had to experience how everything is connected through suffering. When you accept that you are suffering and that there is no help, and if there is help, it's just transient, it's not lasting, then you realize that every single living being in existence is suffering when it's not sleeping. That's what connects you to everything, to everyone. That's pure humiliation. It humbles you. And it makes you feel connected to everyone. Because there's something that we all share. We are all suffering. So no one is better than the other. When you feel that your pain, that you feel your suffering is not your suffering, but it's the world's suffering. Tears came when I've realized that, and I felt connected. And that's where I found peace and love, paradoxically. But it was an unconditional love. It was a compassionate love. It is still a compassionate love right now. When the ego realizes that it cannot transcend suffering through spiritual practices, then it's going to be very disappointed. And when the ego is going to be disappointed, then you're going to be free, compassionate, loving, and you're going to feel the connectedness. The connectedness. Because now you can see the suffering in all and the love in all. The peace in all. So no one is better than the other one. Because in truth, there is only one beingness. And it is suffering, and it is loving at the same time, at all times. When you are on a lonely island, there's no Bible, there's no master, there's no teacher, no crystals, no tarot, no nothing. You only have yourself and raw nature. Then you're forced to just sit down and accept your fate. There's no savior. You even pray to God, but he doesn't answer. That's surrender, and that's defeat. And it's liberation for no one. There's a part in the mind that is constantly trying to hold on to solutions, to answers. because it wants to feel safe. But in reality, it is that very thing that is preventing you from finding peace, from finding what you want. And what you're trying to find is right here, right now. The mind might say, but it doesn't feel peaceful, so it cannot be that. But I say, no, that's wrong. It is that. Because liberation doesn't care about your suffering or your peace. What makes you think that you are not enlightened already? Just because the mind says, nah, I don't feel peace yet. I'm not a sage, I don't claim to be enlightened because I truly believe that individual beings cannot be enlightened. So I still, on this relative level, in the personal level, I still feel extreme highs, extreme lows, sometimes like this, sometimes like that, but I know everything is transient. The reason why I believe that individual beings cannot become enlightened is because individual beings are persons. Person means persona, persona means mask. How can a mask become enlightened? Enlightenment means the end of the mask. And the mask crumbles once you are realizing that this world is empty, there's no solution, no one will help you, no one will come to save you. You have problems, but there are no solutions. You have questions, but there are no answers. You have an urge, but there's no pleasure. Surrender. Ego death. The end of self-help. There's no self that needs help. But yeah, if you like this video, like it, subscribe, leave a comment. Have a great day.